Long time no see. I hope you guys are doing well. Taking a quick break from my insane these days mix and mastering schedule to show you two really cool plugins by Safari Pedals. They're called Time Machine and Gorilla Drive. A really cool combo to add some mojo to your tracks. Let's take a look. All right, let's get right into it. These are two extremely simple to use, straightforward plugins, but they pack a punch. They pack a lot of color, actually. And I find that they work great in combination. You'll hear it for yourself in a minute, but of course you can use them independently. Let's take a look at the GUI. They are presented in a guitar pedal form with this really cool 70s comic style graphic, and they're called Time Machine, the one on the left, and Gorilla Drive, the one on the right. Right now I'm using them through Patchwork on Windows and Pro Tools because VST is the only format supported on Windows, but if you have a Mac, they are available on VST3, AU, and AAX native. The GUI is resizable, as you can see, and Time Machine is our first plugin. This one was a surprise. I thought it was a delay at first because of the name, but it's not. This plugin gives you instant access to 4 different types of vintage vibe. As you can see, our buttons, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. These are unique filters that give you the EQ curve, the saturation, and the compression of that given era with just a click of a button. On top of that, of course, we have input and output with auto gain compensation and the amount of compression that you can apply. And we also have the characteristic noise for a given era. So when you change decades, the noise changes. You can adjust the level of it, of course, and we have finally a blend. Let's hear this one first before going to the Gorilla Drive on a loop. So you can hear the saturation is very subtle. The filter in Classic from the 50s, the Bandit is restricted, very cool for lo-fi effects. Then the 60s. That's really cool. I really like the 80s, although it's the somehow the less colored, so to speak. You can hear more punch with the 70s, the really saturated high, mid-range, and top end in the 60s. And I'll give you examples on different sources because that's the plugin. There's not really that much to say, but you can hear it in action on different sources. It's really cool. Then we have the Gorilla Drive. This is again very straightforward. We have an input and output with auto gain compensation, and then we have the tone. That's where the money is on this one. More low end as you turn it counterclockwise, brighter if you turn it clockwise, then a bypass and a phase button. If you notice my tone setting here is slightly counterclockwise around 10 o'clock with very conservative input. Of course, the amount of drive depends on how hard you drive the input. I love this setting, especially on a loop like this, because as you can hear, it adds a really nice low end. So let's hear it in action, both of them. Okay, so you can really go from subtle, and I really like this Gorilla Drive for subtle saturation, to guitar palette territory for full distortion. Let's try it on something else. . 。  . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . It's very cool to feed different settings of the Time Machine into the Gorilla Drive, even given the same settings on the Gorilla Drive. It might sound subtle, but it can actually make tracks sit very, very well in the mix, especially for things that don't need to be right in your face, especially for hip hop, trap, and modern genres when you have arrangement or a lot of things in your song and vocals needs to be up front, or maybe one synth needs to be up front, but you have a lot of other things in the arrangement and you want them to sit back. That's what you want. And I really like the noise, especially for something atmospheric like this piano. I'm usually not a fan of noise in plugins, but this one on this track kind of fit. It's very cool how we start breaking up. As you turn the input, you have a lot of range. Usually plugins, they go from 0 to 10, like this. This one has a really wide range. I like it, especially if you want to automate and just go on the verge of breaking up and then coming back. Really, really cool. I love this. Another quick example on this vocal, especially if you have vocal samples like this one that I'm using right now. These are very cool to add some life to the sample.
Feel the rhythm, feel the vibe, feel the rhythm to the beat. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhythm, feel the bass, feel the rhythm, move your feet. It's time to move it. The DJ spinning records round and round. We can't refuse it. Let the club fill with the sound of sweet music, music.
Before we continue, if you like the videos, please consider using the super thanks and support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member, access the already big and always growing library of full mixing courses, start to finish, mastering courses, and a lot more. And many, many new courses are coming in the next weeks. Let's go back to the video. Very cool. Like I said, they are simple, but that's also the beauty of it. You don't have to like mess around with 1,000 knobs. It's just the instant vibe. That's literally the selling point of Time Machine. You don't have to mess around with like filter, compression, and saturation. You have everything here. Let's do another quick test on multiple tracks so you get an idea of what I was saying earlier. So we have this 70s drum stem here and the music part. All right, those were dry, so let's open both of them. Let's work on the drum first. I love the 60s here. Let's hear it without again. I'm gonna add a little bit of distortion to it. Let's do the guitar part. That's nice and juicy. You heard both of them with or without on the fly, and just adds a lot of color, a lot of flavor. I want to do just one last test before letting you go, guys. Let's try on a sang vocals. This is a perfect track to try the lo-fi. I think it sounds really cool.
They say I'm too young to love you. I don't know what I need. They think I don't understand the freedom land of the 70s. Think I'm too cool to know ya. You say I'm like the ice I freeze. I'm churning out novels like be poetry on amphetamines.
Especially on high passages, I have another track that is perfect, just so you can hear how nicely the Gorilla Drive breaks.
Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, now you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
And you can hear the higher we go with the decade, the less compression we have. Like the 50s and the 60s have a lot of compression, and as we go down, it's more open and the dynamic breathe more, but you can increase the compression here. But this combination is really cool.
Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, now you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
I think they're very cool, especially with the blend knobs on both. You can create very, very interesting and unique effects. This is it for the video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you think. The links to these two plugins are gonna be in the info box down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat, lift me up.